Hey there guys, what is going on out there today with all of you out in the YouTube verse and those of you who happen to find this video by whatever means you happen to track things down on the internet. I know there are many different ways to do such things. I hope you are all doing superbly out there because I have a couple of videos that I would like to shoot and show you because I have some things to talk about today that are pretty cool. First off, I would like to lead off by saying before we do get into the subject matter for this video as well as the video that is to come after it, I would like to say that as I have referenced in the past on my channel, you should go and check out my WordPress blog on the backedgeofthebeat.wordpress.com, I believe it is called. I have not written new material up there in quite a while, but I just recently posted a great new article on a local Brooklyn band called Barefoot and Bankside. They are an absolutely incredible group. A group I got the absolute pleasure of seeing perform a couple of months ago over at Rockwood Music Hall. They recently released that set on Bandcamp and is for everybody to listen to now, and I had a really great time getting to re-experience that as well as write about it in a little review for my blog page, and that's something that I'm really proud of because it's been a while since I've made a piece. So by all means, go and check that out. Again, that is on the backedgeofthebeat.wordpress.com. It is a cool article, and even if you don't like the music, I think I did a pretty good job writing it. So I'm pretty happy about it. Go check that out. But for this video, we have yet more vinyl unboxing stuff, as I've been saying in all these videos I've been putting up lately, which is a lot of what I'm trying to get to, although I would like to get back to doing some reviews, of course, on YouTube as well, eventually, because there are definitely some releases out there I'd like to talk about, like the Jason Isbell, the forthcoming Jason Isbell record, some of the records I'm going to talk about here, etc., etc. There's a lot of things. But for right now, I want to do an unboxing for an artist that was completely unknown to me until this year, until the great NPR First Listens rolled around one week, in about mid-April, I'd say. And I always like to try to pay attention to NPR First Listens. If you are not familiar with those, by all means, go check out npr.org and get over to their music page because they do news and music. Most people know what NPR is, but just in case you're not aware, go and go over to their music section, and they have a great thing every Sunday night about 11 o'clock. Sunday into Monday, they generally put up something that is going to come out the next week, and you get to listen to it on their website, stream it song by song across the entire record for the week in advance. And it's a nice way to get an advance peek at some music you might be expecting, or some music you might not have heard of at all, and maybe you think to yourself, well, hey, I'll give this a listen, and you never know what you might encounter. This being the case in point with this fella here today. He is actually known, from what little I'm aware of, as more of a writer and kind of a behind-the-scenes guy for more contemporary country musicians, which off the top of the cuff, off the top of my head, would be kind of a turnoff because I have a lot of problems with modern country music and its copy and paste, paint by numbers system of creating the same style of artists who have the same accent and the same lyrics and the same subject matters and the same twangy sound and the same thing. It's so just, paint by the numbers that it's insufferably predictable. But thankfully, when it comes to modern contemporary country, while I do feel that the label and the logo itself gets kind of slagged and dragged through the mud by artists made by this machine in Nashville and other places and such, there are a lot of really great artists out there these days. You've got the Lone Bellow, who I've talked about in great detail. You've got Sturgill Simpson. You've got even guys who are kind of more towards the alt country section. You've got Justin Townes Earl. You've got Ryan Adams, who's kind of taken more of a rock direction but has done great country work in the past. You've got guys out there who are really still carrying the flag of both country with a mix of contemporary or just classic country itself, especially in the instance of Sturgill Simpson, whose record Metamodern Sounds in Country Music I actually just picked up recently, and that one is particularly sterling. That's a great effort. But for this one, because I'm taking forever to get to it, but I'm having fun telling the story. And I hope you guys enjoy that when I get on a story, because I feel like it's fun getting to talk to people out there who might appreciate what makes me enthusiastic. With this guy, we have Chris Stapleton and his debut solo record, Traveler. Now, as I said, this guy is sort of known as a writer more than anything, not so much a guy who gets in front of the mic. He's written for a bunch of different guys. I think Jamie Johnson was a name that came up. I get these names, they don't really stick with me because they blend one into the other, but really was known for that. Wrote a lot of songs, good songs for other guys, and finally getting to write his own record and really put his own record out. And it's truly amazing to me to listen to this record and think to yourself, this guy Chris Stapleton from Kentucky, I believe, you've been hiding this voice, you've been hiding this ability for other guys this whole time, and you haven't put out a record. That's a travesty. But thankfully, we get to listen to it now. It's a great album. The vinyl actually just came out. It was delayed for a month and didn't really roll out until the end of May, hence why it's here now. And it's really nice through Mercury Records. A lot of these, you get them late or whatever. The artist isn't a big vinyl proponent. It was a cheaper vinyl, too, which was nice. It's like a single fold. It's not all well-to-do, you know. But this has got a big gatefold here, which is nice. Picture of Chris with his wife there who sings with him. And just a really nice kind of thing. I don't know if you can see that in the camera angle here, of appreciation to the people who, you know, bought the record and just the steps it took to get there. And you really feel for a guy who's worked that long and is really putting out a record and a piece of material that he really believes in, which I think is awesome. On the back here, you have the split of all the tracks, side A, B, C, and D. Great mixture of songs like not just music that I think represents old school country, like Johnny, like Waylon, like Willie, like those guys that just wrote. They wrote a certain way, they just did it a certain way. They were those outlaw kind of guys, and it just sounded good, and it was just fun country music. You also get this element of blues and rock, and I think it makes for a great contemporary mixture altogether on this record. The last third isn't like super amazing, but if I had to tell you one song to pick from, and I would suggest you go on Spotify if you can, if you're not from Canada. I know that's bogus, or Australia or whatever. Go on to Spotify, because the studio version is not on YouTube, and go listen to a song called Sometimes I Cry, which is the last song on the record and is not nearly as tears in the beer country music as that title sounds like. That song will blow your mind and blow your face clean off of your skull. You will be left as a smiling skull, which that might be a company name of some kind already, but you will be left as a very appreciative, smiling skull when you get through listening to this song. When I was listening to it through NPR First Listens, I stumbled on it completely by accident. It's just like, what's the last song? Because I love closer songs. Closer songs are my thing. I go to them all the time. It's like, how are you ending this record? What are you wrapping up this statement by saying? And the moment I got to Sometimes I Cry and I threw that on, blown. The hair should have just been like in one of those cartoons when you're confronted by a really strong wind, just like in the back. Like I was like Albert Einstein by the end of it. It's a beautiful song, crazy song, mixture of, like I said, old school country, Warren Haynes, Stevie Ray Vaughan, just a great mixture of old and new, and just one of my greatest new discoveries in quite some time. Inside, just to go over it quickly before we wrap things here, it is a dual LP, which again surprises me because it was this cheap. So it was only about 17 bucks, and they both kind of just look like this, standard black vinyl. I don't believe there's a download card, which is why I was looking. It does not appear to be one, but it's a great record. Go listen to it on Spotify, go download it on iTunes, go support the artist, especially for one who is just rolling out his debut. It's a great little release, and if you only listen to one song from this, listen to that last song, Sometimes I Cry. Traveler is great, Whiskey and You is great, Fire Away is great, but if you're going to listen to any one song, listen to Sometimes I Cry. that's going to be on your top 10 songs of 2015 list. I guarantee it. But anyway, that is it for my vinyl unboxing coverage of Chris Stapleton with Traveler. Go check it out. Again, it is fantastic. I'm enjoying the hell out of it this year, along with a lot of other great releases. And keep it here, guys. We've got so much more great stuff to keep you tuned into, to keep you aware of, to keep you on the cusp of. So by all means, keep it tuned here and stay tuned.